Hello and welcome. I'm Lanre Lasese and it's time for the Gavel. That's right. It's time to look at some of the activities of your federal representatives that made headlines this week. It's the first week of the second session of the 8th National Assembly, and without a break from marking the anniversary of the first year, the lawmakers got down to work. The Senate considered a bill to establish the Northeast Development Commission and also considered the audit report of the Nigerian Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. In the House of Representatives, a heated debate trailed consideration of the 500 billion naira social intervention fund. And that will be our first report. Some of the 5.5 million school children that will be benefiting from the school feeding program being funded by the federal government. This is part of the 500 billion naira social intervention fund approved by lawmakers in the 2016 budget. That fund has, however, led to a heated debate in the House of Representatives. This lawmaker believes no proper structure has been put in place for the welfare program to succeed.
Also aware that Nigeria at different times had introduced programs like Shopee, but it had failed woefully due to mismanagement and lack of strong institutional structure. Cognizant of the fact that National Assembly has approved 500 billion naira as social intervention funds domiciled under the service-wide vote of the Federal Ministry of Budget and National Planning to be implemented by the SSA to the President on Social Protection under the office of the Vice President. Also cognizant of the fact that this is not the right structure to handle such intervention fund to mitigate the plight of the poor and vulnerable by providing concrete and recognizable social protection programs that will provide a lasting legacy in Nigeria. State that there is an urgent need for the federal government to stop the disbursement of the fund until framework has been provided for the said disbursement.
This led to a heated debate.
There must be clear-cut policies that will guide us collectively. And I state this because it is a collective responsibility. It cuts across party line where we need to work together as a team. And when we have these clear frameworks, it becomes very, very important. I don't want to find a scenario or a situation where we are like a ship in an ocean without any particular engine functioning. All we will be doing is just swifting, and it will not help us. And I think the first thing we need to demand is a very clear legal framework. A legal framework that will guide most of the decisions we are doing. And I fought this house. I fought this house because, first and foremost, we should have known that there was no legal framework before we even released those specific amount of money.
We have the legal framework right in this house. Nobody should play politics with that intervention. The government has a good intention. It should be allowed. We should not play politics with it. The framework is right in the House of Representatives.
Unfortunately, this motion, the way I see it, seems to be a motion of arrested development. It seeks to kill or to bring forth a stillborn child. Mr. Speaker, this House sat. We debated very vigorously the issues in the budget. And perhaps the most important issue that was debated was the social intervention program. As far as this motion is concerned, it is not a motion that we should pass in this House. This House, it is time-tested. We work through committees. It is in our rules. We work through committees. And the Chairman, Poverty Alleviation, has stated very clearly and very unambiguously that even before we pass the budget, and after we pass the budget, the committee headed by him has met with the Vice President, who is charged and seized with the responsibility of this program several times. And that is the wisdom, that is why we dissolve into committees.
The Speaker of the House also added this view.
What he's asking for is the framework for the implementation of this. But the budget itself is very clear as to what that money is intended to achieve.
Eventually, the motion, which sought for a joint committee of the House to compel the special advisor to the Vice President on social investment to make available the framework and details of the program to the House, was put to a vote.
So I put the question. Those in favor of the motion as moved, say aye. Aye. Those against it, say nay. Nay. The ayes have it.
The House has mandated the committees on legislative, budget and research and poverty alleviation to immediately take action on this matter and report back to the House within the next 3 weeks. Now, our next report looks at the position taken by the House on the alleged assault of a female member of the House, Representative Juan Mrakpo. The consideration took an unexpected twist. Here is the report. Officials of the Nigerian Prison Service at the investigative hearing conducted by the House of Representatives Committee on Interior on the alleged assault of Representative Juan Mrakpo by the officials. The House is now ready to consider the report of that committee. The first recommendation calls for the immediate dismissal of Senior Inspector of Prisons Ida Ode and his arrest and prosecution by the Attorney General of the Federation. However, the lawmaker who was allegedly assaulted raised an observation.
I am the one assaulted. I'm still saying that I recommend that Ode should be demoted and not dismissed. I'm a Christian, I don't want any woman. He has a wife and children. I don't want any woman to suffer on my own account. And if, for now, considering this report, I do not see Mr. Kangiwa mentioned here for anything, it will be out of place to recommend that Ode should be sacked. So I am the one assaulted. I'm still saying that I recommend that Ode should be demoted and not dismissed.
She goes ahead to make this explanation.
Considering the fact that Inspector Ode, number one, for 2 reasons. My amendment is guided on 2 reasons. One, Inspector Ode had apologized, saying he slapped me when he saw me trying to go into a fight with his boss, Kangiwa. And he put it in 2 national newspapers. I have the national newspapers. It's part of our front load to the High Court. Secondly, and having also, like I said, I don't deny the fact that I am a Christian. I'm entitled to forgive, carrying the House along and stating my reasons.
At this point, she was interrupted.
Hello, point of order. Bring that point of order. Let me raise it. Bring that point of order. Let me raise it.
Eventually, it was resolved that the official should not be dismissed or demoted, but just be prosecuted. Another amendment that was approved is for the prosecution of his supervising officer, Assistant Comptroller General of Prisons, Usman Kangiwa.
The House in the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Interior on the criminal acts of assault and battery allegedly visited upon Honorable Juan Oyemachi Mrakpo by men and officers of the Nigerian Prison Services and amended Recommendation 1 and approved Recommendation 2 to 7 of the report.
The House also approved that the Legislative Houses Powers and Privileges Act 2004 should be amended to allow only the President, Vice President, Chief Justice of Nigeria, or a visiting president to come into the premises of the National Assembly with a moderate convoy. The House also approved an urgent and complete overhaul of the Office of the Sergeant at Arms and that of all the security personnel currently serving at the National Assembly gates.